let's just I I know everyone here, but I think it's really beneficial for us to get to know each other a little bit better. And so if we can just really quickly kind of zip around, say where you're from, and why you decided to come here today. All right. And so Suzanne, why don't we begin with you?
Okay, hi, I'm Suzanne Woods from St. Paul's, a vestry member, and um, I'm here because Dean Warden, our senior warden, said we should be here. And
Thank
of
you.
I
course,
asked St. Paul's where? Don't we have several St. Paul's in the diocese?
I'm sorry, Key West.
Oh, okay, great. Wonderful.
Okay. Randolph, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm known as Randy, so you may shorten that. I am from the senior warden of Grace Episcopal Church in West Palm Beach, and I am here to interact with other Vestra members.
Thank you. And you're such a good attender at all of our meetings, so we appreciate that.
Thank you.
And so Claire, if you
I'm
don't mind.
Claire Keller from St. Paul's Key West. Like my fellow vestry member Suzanne, I am compliant. But I'm also interested in just learning what there is to learn.
Okay, thanks Claire. And Lynn?
Hi, I'm Lynn Riley from St. James the Fisherman in Isla Mirada. And I am a former senior warden, and our new senior warden also said all our vestry members should be here. But I look and see I'm the only one here. Well, I just got the updated link, so maybe that's why.
Yeah. Lynn, if you wouldn't mind sending that out, trying to send that out to the vestry. We had a little complicated thing this morning. If you can do that, if there's any way.
I can try.
Okay.
Yeah, because oh gosh, I was futzing around like crazy. So I'm sorry I'm late, everybody.
That's okay, not a problem. And so Greg, if you would like to introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Greg Rickle. I'm assisting bishop now here, and some of you are new faces to me. I'm really glad to meet you. But I think other than Grace, I've actually been to all these churches that are represented on here, so I look forward to getting to Grace. But I was down in the Keys over Pentecost and actually celebrated and preached at St. James the Fisherman, and then went down and met with Donna down in Key West. So got to be with her for a little while, and then spent a great time at St. Columba's too, seeing all of that. So I am technically right now very temporary, I hope, filling in for Jason, who became the provost at the cathedral, as you all know. And so we're looking for someone to take his place. And until then, I'm attempting to fill in. So that's why I'm here today. And I love this topic and would be glad to share and participate in the conversation too. It's good to meet all of you.
Thank you, Greg. And Jody, if you'd like to finish up the group.
Sorry, I'm still sending the links out to some people.
Oh, sorry.
Jody, I'm the parish administrator at St. Columba, and I work with Congregational Vitality with Reverend Deborah. So glad to be here.
Thank you. And so we're just going to jump right into this. And if you've attended one of our conversations before, you know that we are really recommending the FAMA Bible study as a way to kick off your vestry meetings. The FAMA Bible study stands for Facts, Association, Meaning, and Action. And it is a way for you to put the context of your vestry meeting into a sacred space. Or as a senior warden, it's also a way when you're helping with working on the agenda with the rector, with the priest in charge. If you have some particular piece of business that you might want to deal with in the vestry meeting, depending upon that, you can choose a particular piece of scripture so that people get into a really good mindset for working their way through through the vestry meeting, so that the vestry meeting isn't just another meeting like Rotary or something like that, that it's put into the sacred space of ministry and mission for the church. And Jody and I learned this family Bible study really right after Hurricane Irma. And we were traveling around, we'd been invited to go to a bunch of different places. And so the National Church was really rolling out this family Bible study. It seemed like every single place that we went, they were using this study as a way to begin the meetings. And these studies can be as long or as short as you would like them to be. I mean, for example, this could be a standalone Bible study in your congregation. But for the sake of beginning a vestry meeting, what we try to do is you know, keep it you know, kind of short and defined. And so we're going to go through it pretty quickly just to get the hang of it. So if someone wants to go ahead and read out you know, like the first third, we'll just do a third, and a third. If someone would like to begin and then stop a third way through, and then we'll continue on, we'll go through it. So if we would have someone that would like to be a reader, that would be great.
Oh, I can do it.
Okay, great.
Ephesians 4, 1-16. You want me to read about a third of this?
Yeah, read about a third and then someone else pick up.
Okay.
And then someone
Unity
finish.
in the body of Christ. I, therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beg you to lead a life worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love.
Oh, keep on going. Read about a third. Or read about a
Well,
third.
I thought it was. Okay. Making every effort to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called to the one hope of your calling. Somebody else pick it up.
One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of us all, who is above all and through all and in all. But each of us was given grace according to the measure of Christ's gift. Therefore, it is said, when he ascended on high, he made captivity itself a captive. He gave gift to his people. When it says he ascended, what does it mean but that he had also descended into the lower parts of the earth? He who descended in the same one who ascended far above all the heavens, so that he might fill all things. The gifts he gave were that some would be apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors and teachers, to equip the saints for the work of ministry, for building up the body of Christ, until all of us come to the unity of the faith and all of the knowledge of the Son of God, to the maturity, to the measure of the full stature of Christ. You want me to continue?
Someone else pick it up, please.
We must no longer be children tossed to and fro and blown about by every wind of doctrine, by people's trickery, by their craftiness and deceitful scheming. But speaking the truth in love, we must grow up in every way into him who is the head, into Christ, from whom the whole body, joined and knit together by every ligament with which it is equipped, as each part is working properly, promotes the body's growth in building itself up in love.
Thank you. And so now if you look down at the bottom of the page, you're going to see, so we're going to both do this and learn to teach this. So you'll see the facts, association, and meaning. And you can go through this very quickly, or like I said, this could be a standalone Bible study, you know, that you could hold in your congregation. So for our own sake today, let's briefly reflect and discuss what we've seen, what was done or seen in the reading in the context of, being a part of a vestry. Reflect and discuss what was done or seen in the reading. How does that connect to being a member of your vestry?
You're asking for a conversation about these 4 things? Is that the?
Yeah, we're just going to go through,
Okay.
we're just going to go through briefly. Yeah, just a little, just reflect and discuss what was done or seen in the reading.
Well, there's the call to unity of action through love and faith. The idea that we're supposed to work together. And in working together, we are in the maturity to the full measure of the stature of Christ, and we represent Christ in the world and build up the body, the whole body in love.
Yeah, thanks, Suzanne. Anybody else have something?
It also prepares us for the effectively carrying out the ministry and mission of the church, preparing us to do that. And in some instance, or in some ways, preparing others to also continue after, we have made changes in terms of not being in the vestry.
Thank you. Thanks, Randy. Thank you. And one more, just one more. Lynn, you're muted. Go ahead, Claire.
I like verse 11 because I think it reminds us that we all
I'm
bring
not muted.
different gifts to the vestry, and it helps to remind us to appreciate the different perspectives and strengths that we have as vestry members. We may not always agree, but we can be respectful and move forward in a positive direction.
Yeah. Important reminders for being on the vestry, right? Lynn, how about you?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because what she said is just what I was going to say, that we
Oh,
all have
perfect.
different gifts to bring.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Let's move down to the next one. Association. Connect the experience that you see here in the passage, and connect this experience to your own feelings and lives. What does it mean to you to be on the vestry? What does it mean to be begged to lead a life worthy of the calling to which you have been called? What does it mean to know that there is one body and one spirit? And just as you were called to the one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, and one baptism, what does that mean for you individually as a member of your vestry? I mean, I just picked out some sentences that are meaningful to me, so you don't have to be married to those sentences. It can be whatever, pick out, whatever strikes you today, this morning.
Well, people are certainly saying these things, but I would just, what's really prominent for me in this is the reality that unity does not mean necessarily uniformity or total agreement. And I think so often, really, faithful Christians actually misread this as to mean that we all have to agree with everything. And I think the hard part and the hard work starts when we actually don't agree, but we know that we're called to be one in Jesus Christ. That's the real work and the tough work. This seems like in a way, a recipe for how to do that and what will get you through if you're going to succeed at it.
Thank you. Thank you, Greg.
That's nice.
Someone else? Someone else?
This is Randy. For me, it has to do with the strengthening of my faith. My experience on the vestry actually provided me with more understanding and learning of the approach of our Episcopal Church where ministry is concerned.
Thank you. Thank you, Randy. Okay, let's move on now down to meaning. Identify and discuss the deeper meaning of the experience of being on the vestry, also within the context of this passage and its importance. At a deeper level, and I know I'm calling on you, at 10:30 on a Saturday morning. But one of the gifts of this type of Bible study or family Bible study is it does ask for, just looking at what is in front of us and then responding to it. Sometimes we complicate the idea of Bible study or the too much. And people are intimidated by it in some respects, but this calls out a response, an immediate response. So in many respects, I think this is one of the gifts of this type of study.
I think it's interesting that it says in here about that he gave gifts, and that then the people were given different jobs. I think that's really important on the vestry, is that each of our jobs is it comes from our gifts, our own personal gifts that were given to us.
Thank you, Jody. Thank you.
And the need to respect, as Claire said, different gifts.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Any more responses to meaning? No? Okay, so let's just move on. And this is a very action-oriented passage, actually. And so it invites people to take action, really. What would be, how would you invite, or how do you feel invited to take action following looking at this passage?
I think this is where the discipleship comes in. Invite others to celebrate Jesus Christ to the meetings. I'm sorry, to the I meant to say to the services, but also with our experience, I believe we are able to better describe our faith to others, and then invite them to action, invite them to participate in ministry, or encourage them to participate in ministry, describe what each ministry may be in terms of one's own experience.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sharing this because I've been on vestry. I don't want to I don't want to divulge my age, but I've been on vestry. I've been on vestry for about 60 years in three churches.
So next time you can run this conversation, Randy.
That shows a lot of wisdom, those comments.
Thank you.
I so appreciate you saying that, and then also knowing that you're one of the people that comes and attends these conversations. I so appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, well,
generosity.
Of course,
That
there's all,
generosity.
life is a learning experience, and you can always learn from anybody, from each other's. So and I enjoyed it. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to add I feel like this passage is so much depth to it. And, it's calling to us from, at least to me, from my deepest place of faith. And I think to all of us as leaders in the church. And I just want to relay, a recent experience that we've had at St. Columba, with our vestry and our leadership at the church. And everyone, if you're from the Keys, you know that the balcony fell off of one of our buildings in our apartment, which could have been tragic. It was bad, but not tragic, because no one was hurt and no one was killed.
I think you're frozen, Deborah.
I'm not.
I can see you.
Yeah. And so I think about this passage, making every effort to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. And in some respects, I feel like the church has, at St. Columba, we have really lived into those moments as a vestry, because things, have been not easy. And in sometimes those not easy moments, people in leadership, the congregation, we can turn inward on each other and start to wonder if we really are one body and one spirit, to try to wonder if we really are called into this vocation, try to figure out if we really have the gifts to be equipped to work, to provide a home for people who would not have homes. And so this passage really has resonated with me over the past few weeks, because in faith, in community, in spite of adversity, and you think about all of the adversities experienced all over the world, the balcony falling off of our building is a relatively minor one. But the church is at its best when we bear with one another in love. And so that's what, as members of the vestry and leadership, that we're being begged to lead a life worthy of the calling to which we have been called, in a big group, in the vestry, and there's lots of different ways to do that. And what we're going to get into right now after this is just more like the nuts and bolts and resources. But if we underline what we're doing, it's not just a point by point, this is how we're going to do things and everything is going to be all right. If we underline and overline, encircle our vestry and our congregations with that type of faith, and that we work to develop and to strengthen the faith, not only of our own selves, but of our congregations, that's where the real work is. And that's where the real strength and power, in my opinion, of the church lives. And so that is really the FAMA Bible study. It can be as long or as short as you want it to be. I mean, sometimes we, at St. Columba, we may do, 10 minutes on this. We might do, I might choose a really short passage because I know we have a lot going on, or, you can really tailor it to your needs during any given vestry meeting. And so now let's turn now to more of the of what is a vestry, and how does a vestry function? And you'll see that we've provided a definition of what a vestry is, up under vestry 101. And so I'm just going to, whoops. I'll just, if you want to just read through this, we'll read through this silently, really. And then we can reflect on this in the moment. You know, as you know, the vestry is a legal representative of the parish. So that is something that is always important to keep in mind. But if we'll just take a minute to read through it and discuss, you know, where we might have some questions about that or how things can be strengthened. Let me know just by like raising your finger when you feel like you've gone through this. You can see at the final sentence is the basic responsibilities of the vestry are to help define and to articulate the mission of the congregation and to support the church's mission by word and deed, to select the rector, to ensure effective organization and planning, and to manage resources and finances. And then the in-between part really are the details of the makeup of the vestry. So we have all different kinds of parishes and congregations with us today. I know we have, I know St. James is operates the vestry really is the leader position there's no rector there, there's no priest in charge, there's a series of you know, highly regarded supply. St. Anne's is operates with long-term supply, is that correct?
My apologies. I was on. My apologies, Reverend McConaughey. How are you doing? No, we have a priest in charge. I'm great. I'm great. How are you doing? Listen, I didn't want to miss it. I apologize. I got on late because I had some other things I was involved with. But you're correct. Well, long-term priest in charge, Father Fox, who is going to be officially leaving soon. So we'll be operating with the supply pretty soon.
Okay, and that has been for many, many, many years with at St. Anne's.
Father Fox.
Yes, with that, right? That's right, Father Fox. A builder priest, a repairer priest. With St. Paul's coming out of an interim situation, and with Reverend Moat, Dean Moat, now in her second year. Is that right? Is that right, Suzanne and Claire? Is it second year?
She just celebrated her second anniversary, right, Claire?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. And how about you, Randy? Now, Grace Church, long time rector up there.
Yeah, we have Father Canon Winston Wright. He's been there since 2000. When he came, we didn't have a church building. Now we have a church building, and we recently paid for it.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and getting ready to make the next steps into housing. That's right. So everyone in St. Columba, I've been at St. Columba 17 years. So so lots of like different variations across the board. And now I see someone named Dean Warden. Is this?
Yes, that's our senior warden.
Okay, all right. That's just checking. And then Barbara, St. James, right? Barbara from St. James. Yeah.
St. Joseph's.
St. Joseph. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
All right. And so also another long-term rector, Father Marty.
We are blessed to have had Father Marty for a long time. Yes, yes.
That's right. And currently looking for an associate.
We are, yes, yes. If you know of somebody, please refer them to us.
Okay.
I've been working on it.
Good, I heard that. Yes, yes.
I really have.
Good. We'd just like to see some resumes sent our way. interesting, talented people.
Okay, and we have Margaret, I'm signing in from St. Matthew's. Margaret?
Hi, yes,
Hi.
good morning.
Oh,
Hey, good
Margaret
morning.
Newton, hi.
Good
Right,
morning.
good morning. Good
Yeah.
morning.
And so also now St. Matthew's, your long-term director, retired, Marsha, after many years. And are you now,
Right.
you're now in a supply, are you in a supply?
No, Reverend Bean has come back for a bit. So she's back in the saddle. Mhm.
Okay. And so that church is located in Delray Beach, beautiful church in Delray Beach. And so, what we want to talk about now amongst ourselves really are some of the questions that you might have, some of the things that you feel as members of your vestry that you would like to see offered from the bishop's office, some things that, some opportunities that you might have noticed, or some questions you may have. Please feel free to just call them out, and we're going to, while we're discussing them, we're also going to be making a list. All right. So any confusions that you might have, additional trainings that you might desire.
I would just like to say that we have an issue at our church with the school right presently, because we didn't renew their lease, and resources and assistance and support from the bishop's office was more than I ever could have expected. So when you do have things that you need, you just don't know what's available sometimes until you ask and get involved.
I mean, that's thank you for saying that, Barbara, because a lot of times people do feel that, oh, we're in the congregational model and we have no one to turn to, which could not be farther from the truth. The bishop's office has a tremendous number of resources to be able to help with both the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if they can't help on their own, then are really willing to help to connect, your congregation with those additional resources. Down in the Keys, we experienced that for our own selves with Hurricane Irma, and the resources of the bishop's office were really brought to bear down here in the Florida Keys, and we were grateful for it in the same way as St. Joe's. Anything that you would, so remember this, email the bishop's office, email, contact the bishop's office, and they'll try to point you in the right direction.
When in doubt, call Chris.
Yeah, call Chris or call Congregational Vitality, call Lecha, email Lecha, call one of us, or email one of us. We work hard to try to find the answers. And if we can't find the answers or we don't know the solution exactly, we will kind of work with you, step by step to either, find the greatest grant that you never heard of, or to help with a situation that you did not expect. So that's an important learning. You communicate, remind yourself that you're not in the congregational model, that we are, in the Episcopal model, and that we're all together. I mean, what is some of the additional training that you might like? Has everyone had an opportunity to have a vestry training or a vestry retreat this year, going forward? And if you haven't been able to, have a vestry retreat, would you like help planning that vestry retreat? that's something else that Congregational Vitality can help with. That because the importance of a vestry retreat takes you out of the model of the 1 to 2 hour meeting. You know, it's a time set apart. Even Jesus, as busy as he was, had time set apart for long-term planning. And I mean, I know it's hard to, you know, everyone's busy. So it's difficult to say to everyone, can you think of a time, a Saturday or Sunday afternoon or whatever, where you have, you know, 3 to 4 hours would be the minimum amount of time that you can set aside to have a retreat in November, for example, or, you know, so you give people a long window. I mean, for example, at St. Columba this year, we've been planning, we have someone in our parish who is a professional Lego trainer. She does business training, corporate training with Legos all around the world. And she is going to be leading our vestry retreat in November. We had to schedule that retreat like 18 months in advance to make sure that, you know, we had all of our ducks in a row. Or you could ask one of us to do a retreat, or somebody in your neighboring parish. Often churches have different really great people in their congregations where they can, you know, switch off so it can be no cost. If you have more money, you can do a you know, weekend away. Suzanne, I saw you had a comment.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is concerning as we think about doing something like that is that there are such different levels of experience among members of the vestry. We have people who have been on a lot of vestries. I don't think anybody matches Randy, but people who have been on a lot of vestries or have been on vestries more than once. And then you have people who are on their first year or second year of service on a vestry. And it seems to me that one of the real needs, and I know this is general, I'm not speaking just for St. Paul's, is to find a way to bring everyone on at least close to the same page on what in fact is required and what the jobs are that are expected of members of the vestry with their different gifts.
So could I just interject with that,
yes,
Suzanne?
please.
So my question would be is normally the new vestry members come on board in the January meeting, in the annual meeting. And I'm just wondering if at St. Paul's you do an orientation for your vestry, because that would be a time when you know, at least it gives people an introduction to what being on the vestry can mean. And there are lots and lots of really good resources about what it means to be on a vestry. You could hold the first vestry meeting could be the orientation, for example. But some of the resources are the vestry resource guide. We've put them down underneath the points of information. Church Next, which our diocese subscribes to, which is an entire library of taped classes that, you know, they are short and they are long, that can be used for an orientation. Or also, I mean, my personal favorite are the little vestry papers. I love those vestry papers. I've learned so much from them. And you can get those from the Episcopal Church Foundation. They used to be not online, but now they are online and they're available to everybody. So
the Church Next is actually a vestry training series, and it can be group or it can be individual. So if an individual wants to go online and just do it by themselves, or they could do it all together as a group.
And so that might be helpful to kind of level the playing field, is what I think you're talking about, it gives everyone kind of like, this is point A of what it means to be on the vestry, and it lets people know, you know, what they've signed up for or what they felt called to, because it is a holy, holy, sacred ministry in the life of the church. And when you have a good vestry, I mean, it's a wonderful experience. It's a wonderful experience. So the orientation would be one thing, and the retreat would be another. Go ahead, Lynn.
And what we do at St. James, because we just recently had 2 brandy new vestry members. I mean, they're new to the church and they're brandy new to the vestry. We had people mentor them,
Oh,
you
that's a
know,
good idea.
more seasoned vestry members. And we just kind of had, you know, people who had been seasoned vestry members mentor them and just say, this is kind of what we do here as a vestry. And that was really helpful to them.
That's good.
Do any of you have in-house vestry manuals
Yes,
that
we
you
do.
put together?
Well, no,
and you-
it was a manual that we purchased.
Yeah, that's what we did.
I'm
too.
talking about like a 3-ring binder that's
We have that too. We have that too.
specific to you. Yeah.
Yeah, we have that too. We have a vestry manual that we purchased, and we have a 3-ring binder that we put together specific to St. James.
Because one thing I find, especially if you have a clergy leader, is they, you know, when you're the leader of a congregation for 8 years, let's say, you about the 3rd year you think the vestry must know everything, but we forget that they turn over every year. So you really have to do an orientation, I would argue, every single time you have new people. And you have to update those 3-ring binders. And I often see that starts lagging after a few years. There's lots of zeal for it at first, and then it kind of wanes.
I don't think St. Paul's has ever had a tradition of this. I've been at St. Paul's for 20 years, and I don't, not to my knowledge. Deborah, do you know?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I just don't think we have.
Yeah, I know that speaking from you know, the perspective of St. Columba, it's enormously helpful. It gets everyone on the same page right from the get-go.
Yeah,
you know, on the same page, and you know, and then people also during the course of the orientation, they reveal their different gifts. Often you think, oh, this is so interesting, and I mean, in a good way, you know, in a good way. And then the retreat is for going deeper. It could be, you know, it could be a specific type of retreat where it's, you know, doing a 5-year plan, or it could be, you know, how are we going to be adding a second service, or, you know, I mean, in the case of St. Columba, we're doing the Lego thing because 1, it's an amazing opportunity for the church, but 2, we've been in a building project since 2017. And so we want to begin to relook at how are we building the spiritual foundations of the church, not just the bricks and mortar. So, I mean, it can be whatever it is that you set out to, you know, want it to be. You can put things in to help to build that retreat. And we're here to assist with that, if not to just lead the retreat for you, if you would like, or to make a recommendation. You may have someone in the parish right next door to you where we're like, oh, this person is a really good retreat leader. You might not know the person, and but they would be willing to come over and do the, you know, do a half-day retreat for your parish.
Another great tool is once the basic roles are set, is to do renewal works together as a vestry.
Yeah.
To do what together as a vestry?
Renewal
works. Really cool work.
Renewal?
Oh, renewal. Okay.
RENEWAL.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. Which is, it's an assessment tool. It's a spiritual assessment tool, really. And it is, what we like about it is that it is a, it's not, I wouldn't, quick assessment tool is not the right way to say it, but it's very, it's not onerous. And also then the response time to the assessment tool is very quick. The Renewal Works does the response for you, and it allows you as an individual to reflect upon your own spirituality, but it allows you as a church leader to begin to make some plans for the spirituality and faith formation of your church, either in the sole leadership position as the St. James Vestry is, as the St. Anne's Vestry is shortly going to become, and as Marsha Beam sets about her probably third retirement, you know, St. Matthew's will be in that same boat. So it can be a combined thing with the rector or the priest in charge, or it could be, you know, the vestry takes leadership on that. And you can just type in Renewal Works. We highly recommend it from personal experience doing it, and then also hearing about it. We learned about it from St. Joe's, as a matter of fact. They had done it many years before, and they really liked it. And when we were looking into doing it, we loved it. I also want to draw some of your attention to some of the opportunities for further study or for resources that you're going to find in the bottom of your page. Now, living in Florida, all of us, we probably know right now that we have had to prepare for hurricane season, and that our insurance policies are updated, and that we have our book, our checklist of who is in charge of all of the hurricane season practices that we all have gone through. We probably already know that Episcopal Relief and Development has an asset map, and that it's really easy to go onto that asset map and make sure that your parish or your congregation is listed on that asset map. So should anything happen in the hurricane season, we're all easy to locate. Or should we find the need that we would need to go and help somebody else, we are able to go ahead and look at that asset map. That the members of our vestry and all of our different church leaders, our choir, our youth group leaders, and so on and so forth, are, you know, completely satisfying the safe church requirements. And that we've all gone through all of the training, all of the online training, in order to satisfy not only the needs for church insurance and the needs for our diocese, but more importantly, to learn new skills so that we make sure that our people are safe within the walls of our church and churches. You know, we could go and talk about vestry, you know, the importance of a vestry in the life of the church. But I'm just wondering if someone would like to, you know, offer some closing thoughts.
Someone mentioned mentoring. You know, most of the experience or knowledge in the vestry is gotten through on-the-job training. However, attending conversations such as these also would be helpful. For instance, the list that you just shared with us, points of information. We know that we probably can find it someplace on the church's website, but I don't know if you can, Deborah, you can, if we need, if it would be helpful for you to provide that point of information, so that even though it's a summary, we can, at our next Vestry meeting, share it with Vestry members. And also alert them to perhaps, or maybe it's our responsibility to encourage them or even keep them aware of this kind of conversation, because I'm sure that someone might be interesting. The reason somebody else is not here, probably because of Father Winston's and my schedule right now. I didn't remember to invite anybody else. So,
Well, Deborah,
if
did we film this, right? You're recording it.
Yeah, this is recorded. Yeah, so people could watch this. Yes. Thanks, Greg.
So I
Yeah.
think he's asking a good question. Do we send out after this a follow-up email with the copy of the video and anything we've talked about, like Renewal Works link and stuff like that, so people can just go to those things?
We used to. I can see if Shawnee can send something out. Yes.
If
It'd be good.
the email that Jody sent out this morning has a link to the Congregational Vitality section of the diocesan website, and there are a bunch of things listed there. I just checked, and a bunch of things listed there. If there's anything that we saw today, such as just information about the biblical reading stuff, the FAMA, the list that you just gave of resources, if that's not on there, if you could put that on there, that's an obvious go-to place. And if we can have a one-stop shop for just materials at the diocesan level that are useful to Vestry, I think that would be very, very helpful.
Thanks,
It may
Suzanne.
exist already. I'm just saying, I see at least some stuff, and if it's all there, great. And if it's not, could you add the stuff that we saw today?
Yeah, we can ask if we can add it. We can ask if it can be added. But thank you.
But also, I just want to.
Oh, sorry.
No, I just want to say also, communication is something that we have to work on all the time. And I believe if I take the responsibility to alert the Vestry, even though they may have this on their website, it would be more helpful. It's just that, I don't know, because I've been doing this for years, that I look out for this type of information, but everybody does not do that. Even the church's communication, the bulletin goes out on Thursday, and on Sunday somebody asked me a question that they could have read on the bulletin. I believe this would be helpful for us to take.
Thank you.
To the next.
Well,
And
also,
I know that, I'm sorry, Deborah, but I just wanted, before you leave, we've been looking for grant opportunities for nutrition and exercise, and we have been finding a little bit of difficulty. And I heard you say something about grant opportunities if we contact the diocese.
Yeah, or you can just contact us, contact Jody or me. And,
Okay.
And we're happy to, look around in your neighborhood with you, because I know you guys are really excellent at getting grants. And so we've provided on the diocesan webpage a list of national grant opportunities that are currently out there.
I don't think it's on the website yet.
Okay, well, hopefully it will come on the website. But if you want to contact us, we have that information.
Okay, we shall. Okay.
And because also there's lots of really good local resources that you can find. Okay. And I just want to say in closing, we're willing to come to you either via Zoom if we're willing to come to you, either via Zoom, or if you wanted to do a longer retreat, to actually come up and do, work with you all on the retreat. And we have any number of opportunities to do that. You can look on the diocesan website, and there's a little click thing. It has a list of opportunities for, things that we can do for you. We're happy to do that. We want congregations to go from strength to strength, so to speak, and to share the experience that we have from our own congregation, but also from working within the diocese for many, many years with lots of congregations. And so, in closing, I want to say, one, thank you very much for taking time out of your Saturdays to attend this conversation. Our next conversation is going to be on August 18th, and it's going to be on the topic of stewardship, a topic that is near and dear to all of our hearts, with lots of opportunities for growth in the life of the church. My prayers today for a peaceful and blessed Juneteenth weekend, as we celebrate the baby steps that were made toward freedom on that important day, and know that we have so many miles to go before we sleep on that issue of freedom and opportunity and equality. So we celebrate with all of our brothers and sisters across not only the whole United States, but most particularly in our diocese, the quest and hope of dream of freedom. And
Deborah,
so,
could I?
yes.
Go ahead. You finish what you're saying.
Well, I just want to say that we're going to be, and this may be a good segue for you, Greg, that we are going to be partnering now with the Diocese of Olympia on the College of Congregational Vitality. We're going to be beginning that training actually next week. A team will be going out there, and we're going to be walking toward that, running toward that in many respects, I hope, within the next little while. And that's with many thanks to Greg, our visiting bishop. And so if you would not only make some remarks to close, Greg, but also close us in prayer.
Okay. Yeah, what I think doing that, I want to start first of all with that I really love stewardship. So if you're having an issue with stewardship and you want some help, I really actually love it. So I'll be glad to help you with that. I wanted to test something out because, I'm learning about the diocese. I've decided it's the Chile of the Episcopal Church. It's long and skinny, and it runs 500 miles from tip to stern. And so I realize it's hard to get people together, but in Olympia we would do a spring vestry workshop for everybody in the diocese, and we would spend most of a day bringing in the chancellor and different people like that, and we would often have very good turnout. I'm just wondering if there's any interest in that, especially if we could move it to the region so you don't have to go so far. If that's possible, if we do it, would you come? That's my question.
I think that's a yes.
Yes.
That's a yes.
Prior to COVID, Greg, we did that exact thing, except that
Oh.
because this is the Chile of
All right.
the diocese, we did it twice. We did it once in the north and once in the south.
Yeah, I think we'd have to do that, but I think I shared with you, Deborah and Jody, that the Bishop of Dublin said when in this meeting I was in that some of the church is suffering from ecclesiastical long COVID. And his point was we can't seem to get out of COVID, even though it's long gone. You know, we're still doing things like we were. We've got to come back to some of the face-to-face things that we were doing. So I'd like to see us do that, because I think we get it's so much more productive when we're in the room and can have conversations with one another. I think we learn a lot more too. So I just wanted to test that. The other thing is to share a pet peeve of mine. Every bishop has some pet peeve, and this will be the one that you'll roll your eyes every time I'm in the room and I remind you of it. But I want us to really, Catherine Jennifer Shorey got me going on this, our presiding bishop two back, and Michael Curry's kind of on it too, although he doesn't press it quite like her, and that is the term the national church. We're not a national church, and every time we say that, we write off Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Taiwan, Honduras, Colombia, all these dioceses that are really part of our church. So I know it's hard because I've been using national church all my life too, but and I wouldn't be on it so much, except that when we're in the House of Bishops and somebody uses that term, one of the bishops I just named gets up and reminds us that when you call it a national church, you write us out of the picture. So it may seem like a small thing, but I don't think it is, especially on a weekend of Juneteenth. We ought to, I'm going to flag it. Let's try to use another term. Call it the Episcopal Church, the greater church, the whole church. I don't know, the big banana, whatever you want to call it, but don't call it the national church, or try not to. Just because it does, we're not a national church. We're an international church.
Actually, that's the reason that Cursillo changed its name. It used to be the National Episcopal Cursillo, and
Exactly.
it became the Episcopal Cursillo Ministry.
I was on the board when that happened. I wonder why.
I think you were. I was in Olympia actually for the conference there with you.
Yeah, that's right. And I was arguing that then, that we're not the national Cursillo. We're an international Cursillo. At that point, some of the dioceses I just named were far more active in Cursillo than anybody inside the domestic part of our church. So, yeah, thank you.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Olympia. Yes, the College for Congregational Development. I hope that you all will get interested in that. And I think when this team goes, they're going next week. They'll be there for a week. They've already done a 4-hour Zoom meeting. And I talked to one of the team members yesterday, had lunch with them, and they loved that meeting and are real excited about going now because of that meeting. So when they get back, I'm hoping that we'll maybe have this or something similar to this where they can share a little bit with you about what they've learned and what we think is coming. Ultimately, this is going to take a couple years to probably put it all in place. But once it's in place, we literally will have a college for congregational vitality here in Southeast Florida. So you won't have to go to Washington State like these 6 are committed to do and are going to do. We'll bring the program here to you. And if it's built like it is there, it is a 2-year program, either done on weekends or done in week-long. And it's built on the idea that really this committee and this meeting is built on, that what Deborah and Jody and everybody has always worked on, the idea that you and the local, you know your context better than anyone. And instead of anybody from somewhere else telling you how to manage that, it's giving you the skills, the leadership skills, the organizational skills, the congregational development skills locally to match that with your context and do what you can do best locally. So it's literally the teaching a person how to fish versus giving them fish. It's that old saying that we all know. That's the idea it's based on. And then hopefully that we have a common language in the diocese. The more of us that go, we can speak a language where we all understand what we're trying to do when it comes to congregational development. So I've seen it be very, very positive. There's about 30 dioceses now that have adopted it and are using it in some form. And we're going to be one of them, I think. So it's just in the development stages. So I hope you'll pay attention to that when you hear about it, and we'll be sharing a lot more about it once they get back from this trip. Thank you for letting me belabor this meeting just a little bit.
Thank you. And if you would like to now offer a closing prayer, we will be most appreciative.
All right, I will do that. Let's offer one, especially thinking about this weekend of Juneteenth. The Lord be with you.
And
Also
also
with you.
God of all peoples, of all nations, on this day where we focus on freedom, we celebrate triumphantly with all people of goodwill, that we might walk arm in arm towards justice for all. Breathe into us your eternal breath, that we may never tire of ensuring a flourishing life for all people, but most especially those brothers and sisters whose growth has been stifled by the trauma of being enslaved. Oh God, we know and have seen your goodness, and because of it, we cling to the hope that unity and liberation for all are within our grasp. Continue to show us your goodness, that we may have the strength to advance your kingdom with humility and grace. In the name of our brother Jesus. Amen.
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 Once again, thank you for coming, everyone.